Hello. Jadon Sancho's behavior in Man United training and towards teammates comes to light. Marcus Rashford has emerged as a serious option for Bayern Munich, who are desperate for a left-winger. Welcome to our new edition of News from Carrington. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Jadon Sancho has endured a tough time since joining Manchester United, with a former first-team coaching now shedding light on the winger's behavior behind the scenes at Carrington. Benny McCarthy has shed light on Jadon Sancho's struggles at Manchester United, suggesting that his introverted nature was misinterpreted as having a bad attitude. Sancho was signed from Borussia Dortmund in 2021 for £73 million after a lengthy transfer saga. However, he failed to replicate his form from Germany at Old Trafford, scoring a mere 12 goals during his hugely underwhelming stint with the club. He later fell out with then Red Devils manager Erik ten Hag in September 2023 over his commitment levels in training and refused to apologize for publicly criticizing the Dutchman's comments on social media. That led to him being frozen out from the first-team squad. It also resulted in the 25-year-old being loaned out twice in succession, first to Dortmund and then to Chelsea last season. Although he didn't make a significant impact at Stamford Bridge, he did score in the Europa Conference League final victory. At the end of the 2024-25 season, Chelsea opted to pay United a £5 million fee rather than fulfilling their obligation to buy clause and signing the winger permanently for £25 million. Current United head coach Ruben Amorim has shown no signs of wanting to bring the Englishman back into the fold, indicating that Sancho is likely to leave this summer as a failed signing. Now McCarthy, who served as a first-team coach under Ten Hag for 2 years from the summer of 2022 to 2024, has come out in support of Sancho's character. The South African, currently managing Kenya's national team, says he wasn't the most sociable teammate at United and would often head straight home after training, which may have been misconstrued from the outside. McCarthy told BTOnlinePromocodes.com, "I couldn't fault Jadon in training. He brings unbelievable quality, ability and skills. He can make you stop in awe and ask yourself just how he can do things. He brought unmatched quality. I think what didn't help Jadon was that he's a very closed-off person. He keeps to himself, and from the outside it looked like he wasn't trying to make friends with his teammates. He might not have joked around, but really he was just quiet, and I don't think you should judge players on who he gets on with or not. Based on his ability and craft, I never saw any problems in his relationships. He was quiet-natured, and so when training is done, he doesn't stay to talk, he heads home. He's very private. I think a bit of an introvert, which isn't the opinion he gets branded with in the press." However, he went on to comment on Sancho's main struggles with consistency, adding, "I think that when it came to Erik, he wanted to see Jadon at his best every day. Monday to Friday, no days off. I think that's what the manager would expect from his players, and so it's up to the players to give it to him. If you can't do that, you're going to have problems, and I think the differences and problems then surfaced. For me, I don't have a bad thing to say about Jadon. I loved him, he was unbelievable, sometimes he was unplayable. I don't want to rush to judgment on players if they're reserved." Sancho might be on the verge of a permanent exit from Manchester this summer. Juventus have been linked with the Englishman, and reports suggest they could be ready to meet United's valuation of around £25 million. But the Turin-based club are not willing to do the same for Sancho's hefty wage demands, which reportedly exceed £300,000 per week as talks continue with his representatives. A swap deal could be on the cards too. It's claimed that the Italians have offered Douglas Luiz, Tim Weah and Dusan Vlahovic to sweeten a deal for Sancho. United reportedly have not yet responded to that proposal and could prefer straight cash amid attempts to boost Amorim's budget. Marcus Rashford has emerged as a serious option for Bayern Munich, who are desperate for a left-winger. So far this window, Manchester United have found it tough going when it comes to player sales, with the likes of Marcus Rashford still at the club. The Mancunian has no future at his boyhood club, after he threw all his toys out of the pram with a public interview asking to leave following Ruben Amorim's decision to drop him from the Manchester Derby matchday squad. He was subsequently loaned out to Aston Villa in January, where he showed glimpses of his old form, netting 4 goals while also registering 6 assists in 17 games. But the Villains ultimately missed out on Champions League qualification following their final day defeat at the hands of the Red Devils, which meant they were not in the financial position to trigger his £40 million buy option. Marcus Rashford does not want to stay in the Premier League. The Englishman has long been dreaming of a move to Barcelona, even willing to take a pay cut and agree a loan exit to realize his dream. But so far, Barca have stayed away from submitting a concrete offer, focusing on other stars such as Nico Williams and Luis Diaz. Should the Catalans not be able to muster the finances for a summer approach, Marcus Rashford will have to consider alternatives, with the forward having no intention of staying in the Premier League, having already rejected multiple sides. This is where Bayern Munich come in, with Bild claiming that the Bavarian Giants have their eyes on the England international and unlike the Spanish Giants, they want a left winger who can also play up top if needed. Ineos are demanding €45 million to let the Carrington graduate go. The only issue is his name figures behind the likes of Bradley Barcola, Nico Williams, Rafael Leao, and Luis Diaz on their list of targets. Months ago, it was just a spectacular rumor, but now the Bild podcast, Bayern Insider reveals, FC Bayern is indeed considering Marcus Rashford, 27. 4 years, he was Manchester United's iconic figurehead, essentially unsellable.
Bayern Munich ein Rashford.
Then, there were repeated disagreements with coach Ruben Amorim, 40, and Rashford was loaned to Aston Villa in the winter. There, the left winger returned to his old form, putting in strong performances. Rashford fits Bayern's profile perfectly, capable of playing on the left and as a frontline striker. In Munich, the 62-time England international is on the scouts' so-called long list. That is, behind the top candidates such as Bradley Barcola, 22, Nico Williams, 22, Rafael Leao, 26, and Luis Diaz, 28. Scouts are well aware of Rashford's profile and the prospects for signing him. United are said to be demanding around €45 million. Whether Bayern pivot and make Rashford their top choice as the window progresses remains to be seen. The Red Devils will prefer a permanent sale, as opposed to a loan with an option as Barcelona would have likely offered.